Good evening, all. How are we? Welcome to what we're doing: TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, live Monday night, the 22nd of what we're on the 22nd of February. I was going to say no, 22nd of September. Hope you've all had a good Monday. New weight loss week. How's your weight loss day gone? I always say this: it's a Monday. Lay the foundations for that good week. Tick the boxes the best you can. Good Monday will lead into a good, well, I say fingers crossed, a good Monday leads into a good Tuesday into a good Wednesday, and so on and so forth. And you're just setting yourself up. You're setting yourself up for the best possible week. I've had a really good day today. Quite low in calories. They tend to be on a Monday. Just I eat a lot on a Sunday, so I'm not that hungry on a Monday. You know, if you eat a lot one day, it does not have a knock-on effect on it. You might be like, oh, if I eat loads one day, it makes me even hungrier on the next day. Maybe. Doesn't work for me like that. I always say Mondays for me, I'm always really, really busy. I'm running around like a blue-ass fly everywhere. And number two, I always eat a lot on a Sunday, so I'm never that hungry on a Monday. So I am currently, I will be finishing the day off because I've actually put some evening snacks in, 1,746 calories for the day. That is low for me, right? I'm not going to deny that isn't low for me. What else have I done today? I have tracked my eating for 4 days. I have done it. I'm on it this week. Right? Holiday next week. On it this week. So I have literally created my not meal plan. I've just gone, right, what am I didn't have breakfast today. I'm having breakfast tomorrow. Yes, what are you having? Yogurt bowl. Done. Created it. Bang, it's in there. I've actually made it. It's in the fridge, ready to go. I just need to eat it. Right? So a yogurt bowl, done. Tomorrow's dinner is a My Protein Meat Feast pizza. We're doing it for worth the calories. Tomorrow's afternoon snack is the new red velvet ice cream. From Anderson Fruits. I'm going to review that for Worth the Calories. This week's Worth the Calories episode is it's a pizza ice cream special. 2 pizzas, 3 ice creams. Done. That's it. I'm not putting any more effort into it. That is what we are having. And then tomorrow night's tea. I've got a sourdough baguette, bacon, butter. That's it. We always have a bacon balm on a Saturday. A variety of bacon balm. Bacon baguette. Bacon, bacon baguette, bacon balm, bacon sandwich, 488 calories, that is. Right? Am I just having that? No. So when I say I plan my food, I plan like my main meals. So my breakfast, lunch, and dinner is in, right, for the 4 days. In, done, right? Have I got a bit of room around that for other bits and pieces? Yeah, like some, I've not maxed my calories out, but whether I use them or not. But get ahead of the game. This is what I mean by laying a good foundation for a good weight loss week. Now some of you might be like, well, if you plan your, I used to get this quite a lot as a kind of a kickback, as it were. So I used to say, plan your eating. Right? On a Monday, you should know what you're having for your, if you're someone that's, you jump to a lot of takeaways, you're one of them people where you're like, oh, I don't know what we have tea tonight. Oh, I don't know, what do you fancy? Oh, well, I've got this. Oh, no. Make a decision, plan it, stick to it. And if you get to Thursday and you do not fancy what you're having for your tea, do better, right? What you plan to eat, you should always fancy it, right? So like Thursday night, we're having tomato, onion, and herb, or some tomato, herb, and onion, and pasta and sauce with an Aldi specially selected chicken Kiev and broccoli. I want it tomorrow, right? And what I mean by that is I want to eat that tea. Can't wait for Thursday to eat it, right? I think I'm going to adapt it. I haven't actually added this into my calories, but I kind of did I might put honestly, 30 grams of light soft cheese in a tomato sauce just turns it into a creamy tomato sauce for not many calories, and it adds a bit of protein to it. So I might do that. So creamy tomato, pasta and sauce, chicken Kiev, broccoli on the side. Delicious. I want to eat it. I'm not going to get to Thursday and go, oh, I don't fancy creamy tomato pasta with a chicken Kiev, right? No, because I love them, right? So the food you should be planning on eating should be food you want to eat. So we've got bacon butty tomorrow night, beef stew Wednesday night. I'm cooking a beef stew tomorrow for this week's recipe. It is just a beef stew, but I've had loads of people. I put my beef stew on last week and they were like, what's your beef stew recipe? What's your beef stew recipe? It's just a beef stew. But maybe there is some little tweaks, little things different that I might do that you might not do. You might be like, oh yeah, I never thought of doing that. You know, I leave no stone unturned. And I always cook food for maximum flavour. I genuinely do. I'm not asked about how it looks. I don't care if it looks like a dog's dinner in general. I don't. I cook food so it tastes good, right? Whether it's you know, more calorie conscious, you know, more health conscious. I want it to taste good. You know, tonight for tea I've done salt and pepper chicken. I actually did I've actually made it slightly differently, but I literally put on my Instagram today, right, how to make like healthier, lower calorie salt and pepper chicken, right? And he's literally, you just need some chicken mini fillets and some salt and pepper seasoning. That's it. And like literally had a couple of scoops. Take your pack of chicken straight out of the fridge, like it comes in from Aldi. A few teaspoons of salt and pepper seasoning. Then get your hands in, give it a good mulch about. Stick it in the fridge if you want for half an hour. Let it marinate a little bit. Red hot air fryer. Don't even need any oil in it. Red hot air fryer that's been preheated 5 or 6 minutes, 10 minutes, done. That's it. You've got salt and pepper chicken. Now I actually did it breaded tonight. It's actually breaded salt and pepper chicken. So what I did was I took like a little takeaway dish, you know, plastic dish, breadcrumbs in it, and then salt and pepper seasoning in the breadcrumbs. Mixed all that up, and then just literally, the chicken always comes out a bit moist anyway. Bang, 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 you know, just whacked it in the breadcrumbs. Don't quite stick quite as well as if you've coated it in like egg, but you don't, it's fine. Air fryer, little spray of oil, bang. Delicious. Yeah, it was 200, like, only added about 10 grams of breadcrumbs. It was similar calories to what I put in, but, you know, a few breadcrumbs around it. Breadcrumbs makes everything better, doesn't it? So, you know, and then I did a vegetable chow mein, which was just a veggie pepper mix from Aldi. They're protein noodles, right? They're protein noodles. And then I made a sauce, which was 2 tablespoons of hoisin, a tablespoon of dark soy, tablespoon of light soy, pinch of MSG, garlic granules, and a squeeze of the lime and miso honey from Aldi. That's sauce. Whipped all that up, in with the veggies, in with the noodles. And I actually made that about 1 o'clock today and just put it in and just pinged it in the microwave to heat it up tonight. That was it. Delicious. 600 calories. Tastes amazing. Yeah. Right, let's do top 5. On TikTok, let's see who's in. Evening. Faye's in at number 1. Paul's in at number 2. Kelly C's in at number 3. Peter P's in at number 4. And Ray's in at number 5. Good evening, guys. Thank you very much for jumping straight to the live. Bex is in. Good evening. It's the official first day vote, is it? I never know when, like, I always go with like months, me. And I know it doesn't work like that. I'm always like, yeah, September, October, November's autumn. December, January, February's winter. March, April, May, spring. And then June, July, August is summer. But I know there are it's official day of August. And do you know what? Today's been stunning. I actually love days like today in the UK. Like, don't get me wrong, I like warmer weather. I'm not saying I don't. But today, there's not been a cloud in the sky. It's been sunny all day. The sun's been slightly warm, but the air's really fresh. And it's so nice. You can wear a hoodie, go out walking the dog. Little bit warm. Could have took the hoodie off, but wasn't too uncomfortable to keep it on. Really nice. And it's like that all week, I think. Definitely like that to like Friday, Saturday. So make the most of it. But yeah, I've loved today. It actually felt autumnal today. Felt proper autumnal. But I don't know why it's gone so cold so early in like we're still in September. It's not, you know, the weather's really changed it's changed these last couple of days, but really this last week or so. And I'm like, the crazy thing is, you can still get the odd day now going for where you can get like 21 degrees, 22 degrees. But today felt more like, it did feel more like end of October than towards the end of September. But October's next week, isn't it? October is next week. I don't know what I'm hanging on for. Sometimes we get like what they call an Indian summer, where you get like a week of really nice warm weather. Just September, maybe, you know. I don't think it's going to happen. I've looked at the weather forecast for the next 3 weeks. I don't think it's going to happen. But anyway, there we go. 17,000 steps, gym session, and 1,600 calories. Regan is on it. Hello from Istanbul. Oh, Lynn, hope you're having a wonderful time. I bet it's warmer over there. About 740 calories today. I'm the same on a Monday, usually lower. Yeah, brilliant. But yeah, I'm on banking. What am I on at the moment? I need to go to my week view. 854. Yeah, not bad. That's if I don't have anything. I'm not having anything else today. No, I'm all good. I love Mondays. Don't work them anymore. So it's a gym, food shop, and we like those sort of Mondays. Here's one for you. Would you rather have Monday or Friday off? Would you? My mate's just gone down to 4 days, right? So he's just gone down to 4 days, and he gave him the option of Monday or Friday, and he's took Friday. So he's gone down to 4 days. Not gone down in hours. He's literally same hours, but they only ever worked like half day on Friday anyway. So he's just added an hour to each day. So he's still on like 36-hour contract, right? But he's doing it Monday to Thursday, and he could have done Tuesday to Friday or Monday to Thursday. I'd have took Monday off. I don't mind. I think Friday, he works for a big company, he works for British Aerospace. And I think Fridays, everyone's toning down. So Mondays are manic. Mondays are just a manic day, aren't they? Like everyone's back in work after the weekend. Mondays are always busy in an office, right? They always are. When I used to work in an office, Mondays was always the busiest day. And it's like, but then he was like, yeah, but if I don't go in Monday, right? He said, everyone's caught up. Like he went with the consensus of the office. Like 99% of his office is on a Monday, and he said it's just easier for me to be in on a Monday. And he said finishing Thursday night and then having a 3-day week. And I was like, no, I get it. I do get it. But I think I'd have took Monday. Yeah, that's just my opinion. What would you do? Would you have Friday or Monday? Anyway, we're having curry tomorrow in slow cooker. Very nice, Kelly. Sardines every day. Don't know about that. I'll eat anything, mate. I'm not a fussy. I will try anything. I'll eat anything. I have had sardines, but they're not my bag, really. I love fish. Right? I have a fish lover, but tin sardines. My dad used to eat them on toast all the time, like in the tomato sauce. I think I've got a bit of PTSD from that. Yeah, they're not my bag, really. But if you enjoy them, that's all that matters. That's all that matters. Always Monday. Best way to start your week with a day off. Yeah, absolutely. I think Monday. LC, Dan, evening, mate. Good evening. I'd probably choose Monday off, I think. Friday's vibes, whatever I'm doing. Yeah, I don't know about. I think Friday. I think everyone's buzzing for the weekend. Everyone's chatting about what they're doing for the weekend. And I just think that, Mondays as well, it is good. Like, obviously, I'm very lucky. I've got the flexibility. I work for myself. And I love doing a food shop on a Monday, doing bits and pieces. I mean, I work on a Monday. Monday is manic for me. And that's my own fault, because I'm the bloody boss. But, yeah, I think if I work for a corporation, they offer me a 4-day week, I think I'd definitely work Tuesday to Friday. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, 100%. Because out of my working life, Mondays have always been worse than Fridays. That's the way I look at it. Anyway, there we go. What's MSG? Monosodium glutamate is MSG. Someone commented today, I did that salt and pepper chicken, and it's amazing. And I think she turned herself round. I know what she meant. She was like, "Oh, I use this other brand because it doesn't have MSG in it." I was like, "Why would you know what MSG? It's like that's what Chinese cooking is all about." I think people have a really bad thing with monosodium glutamate. I think what people don't realize is we eat it in everyday life. Like it actually, why people started slating monosodium glutamate, it's actually a race-related thing. So obviously we've got a lot of Chinese immigrants that come over into the UK, 50s, 60s, into the 70s, and it is associated with Chinese cooking. And because of that association, people tried to, and they did it. And this is true. I've read into it. People started slating off MSG because it was never really used in cooking in this country until Chinese immigrants come over and opened up takeaways. So people started slating off MSG to try and get people to stop eating Chinese food, which would then make Chinese immigrants move back out of the country because they couldn't afford to live here. So it's actually the thing of people like having a bad, like slagging off MSG is a race-related thing. It's nothing to do, because what a lot of people don't realize is when you eat cheese, you eat MSG. When you eat a tomato, you eat MSG. Mushrooms, you eat MSG. Red meat, you eat MSG. Right? Monosodium glutamate is a naturally occurring additive, not additive, sorry, it's a naturally occurring chemical, basically, in lots of different foods. And it's been extracted from these foods because it adds that umami flavor to things. And then it's used as a seasoning. And it's absolutely amazing. I use it in loads of cooking. I use it on roast potatoes. I use it in, obviously, a lot of Chinese cooking. There'll be a little bit in my beef stew that I make tomorrow. It is just a wondrous, wondrous food enhancer. And it's totally natural, you know, and a lot of people have look, I'm not saying it's not anecdotal, but a lot of people are like, oh, MSG, it causes headaches, there's absolutely no evidence to do that. Now, I'm not saying, you know, some people might eat chocolate and it gives them a headache. There's absolutely no evidence to say what would be a chocolate to give someone. But it can be, you can have an anecdotal things, can't you, where something just, you know, for whatever reason, just doesn't react right with you, you know. Some people are like, yeah, when I have a protein shake. I mean, to be fair, there is actual evidence that our certain proteins can't be broken down by certain people, you know what I mean? But anyway, but yeah, MSG is monosodium glutamate. It's absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. Like I say, it's a natural thing. It's not man-made. It is a chemical. Everything's a chemical. I'm a chemical. But it's just a natural food enhancer. And it's absolutely banging. Everyone should have a bag in the cupboard. It's ace. Really, really good. Especially on a weight loss journey. Because I've talked about this a lot. Weight loss, we've got to cut a lot of fat out. Right? Because fat's calorific. Now, you can eat fat, but you need to cut down on it. Right? Fat's 9 calories a gram. So 100 grams of fat, yeah, is 900 calories, right? Whereas 100 grams of carbs is 400 calories. 100 grams of protein is 400 calories. But fat adds flavor. Fat adds loads of flavor. So if we're eating chicken, you know, chicken wings have much more flavor than chicken breast. Fat, you know, a ribeye steak has much more flavor than a fillet steak. Fat, right? So if we're reducing fat, we're eating a lot of lean protein. We need to use things that make that lean protein taste amazing. So flavoring, seasonings are amazing. And MSG is just the same as using paprika or garlic powder, right? Or just normal tables, you know, just normal salt, pepper. It's just a seasoning. It's amazing. But you've got to get your food seasoned. You've got to make it taste good. Yeah. You've got to enjoy what you're eating if you want to adhere to a diet. You really, really have. You know, Nikki on Facebook, can I ask you about the importance of macros and the BMR? Well, the importance of, well, your BMR is your basal metabolic rate. That's your metabolism. I mean, the importance of that is, and not trying to be facetious here or pedantic, is if you didn't have one of them, you'd be dead. But your BMR is important because it's your biggest calorie burn. I don't know if you're saying, is there an importance of macros related to, no. Macros is basically is short for macronutrients, and that basically is everything we eat is made up of 1, 2, or 3 macronutrients, which is proteins, fats, carbs. Everything that has calories in it, I'll say. So every single thing that has a calorie in it is either a protein, a fat, or a carb, right? And depending on what the predominant macronutrient is what, you know, chicken breast does have a little bit of fat in it, but its predominant macronutrient is protein, so it's a protein. Yeah. Now the importance of macros on weight loss is directly nothing. Doesn't matter. Eat what you want, right? Anyone that's like, if your main goal is weight loss and you're currently working with someone that's making you eat a specific amount of protein, specific amount of carbs, a specific amount of fat, they're just making your life way more harder than it needs to be, right? They really, really are. Because you're trying to juggle several different numbers, because eating more protein will increase calories, eating more fat will increase calories. Trying to balance all these numbers is an absolute mind melt. Now, don't get me wrong. you can work out your calories that you're eating through your macro. Like I say, carbs is 4 calories a gram, protein's 4 calories a gram, fat's 9 calories a gram. So, you know, if you have 200 grams of carbs in a day and 200 grams of protein in a day, and then you have 30 grams of fat in a day, right, you're going to be consuming about 2,000 calories, right? So 30 grams of fat is 270 calories, 200 grams of carbs is 800 calories, 200 grams of protein is 800 calories, so you're having 1,870 calories. But, you know, it directly, it doesn't make whether you eat nothing, you know, if you have a day where you eat nothing but carbs, a day where you eat nothing but fat, and then a day where you eat nothing but protein, as long as you stick to your calories, you'll lose body fat. So it really doesn't matter. And in all honesty, even why do coaches then get into macros? 2 reasons why a coach, this might be a personal trainer, it might be a nutritionalist, why they want to get into why, number one, they don't know any better. They won't admit that. And, you know, it's very hard for, you know, and if I sat down with most personal trainers and said, why are you giving your clients macronutrient breakdowns? What is the important? What's your client's main goal? Weight loss. Why are you making it more complicated? Well, depending on how many fats, carbs, and proteins we eat, will determine. No, it won't. It's calories in, calories out, right? How your client structures your diet, right, can help with controlling appetite, can help, you know, feeling fuller, can help with energy levels. But again, you don't need to get them to stick to specific numbers. Right, get them to prioritize protein in a main meal. Get them to eat some fruits and veggies with each main meal. Right, tell them to eat some fibrous carbs. Again, fruits and veggies. Right, that's as far as you need to go. Right, you don't need to be eating specific numbers. Right, and if you think pulling the strings of specific numbers, right, is going to help with you don't know what you're talking about. So stop trying to coach them like that. Then, so they either are doing it. But they're doing it because they just think it actually does make a difference, a direct difference, the amount of proteins, fats, and carbs you eat for fat loss, which means they're not very good. They've not done enough research to be giving you that data or that coaching. Or number 2, they know it's a load of nonsense. But a lot of people, it's a bit like a salesman when you go to buy a new car. They try and reel off as many extras on the car to make it seem miles better than it is. It's got this, it's got this, it's got that, it's got the other, it's got the other, it's got this, it's got that. And it's like, wow. So, and I think some coaches are scared. You know, if clients realize how simple fat loss is, like the premise of what we need to do to lose fat, they wouldn't work with them. Well, they wouldn't. I've been training a mate today. He's paying a guy £300 a month. And I was like, what? What? You're doing what? He's £300 a month. I said, what are you getting for £300 a month? And he's like, well, he changes my plan. Why is he changing, you know, every couple of weeks? Why? Well, he just does it. He just tweaks it here and there. You know, I'll weigh in and I'll send him my body fat percentage. I said, where are you getting your body fat from? I said, my BMI scales at home. I said, well, they're massively inaccurate. So why is he basing your body fat percentages off them? You know, they hate me. Coaches would absolutely hate me, right? Because, you know, my mate Dan is literally like thinking, right, I need to lose some body fat, so I need to tweak this, and this. I'm like, no, you don't. You just need to do the calorie deficit down, right? You move a lot, right? You just need to lower your calories down a bit, and you'll lose some body fat, right? You've got a pretty decent diet anyway, so you don't need to worry about that, right? And I'm like, and I can see the clogs. Deep down, he's like, yeah, but I'm paying this guy £300 a month because he says I need to have specific macros personally to me for me to personally lose fat. And I'm like, yeah, he's just doing that to make you paying £300 a month. like it's like, you know, and I'm sorry to break it to you, but you've fallen for it. Sorry if that coach is watching my live now, and you've just lost the client. But you know, I hate people getting ripped off as well. I absolutely hate it. Right? You know, why do something that's not essential? So the importance of macros. Are macros important to anybody? Bodybuilding, when you're going into prep. Why? So to go into prep when you're bodybuilding, you need to lean out. You need to lose a lot of body fat, right? You need to get as lean as possible. But you also need to do that without sacrificing muscle. So you will need to eat a specific amount of protein. You will also need to eat some fats, right? And then, so the other macronutrient that will suffer from that is carbohydrates. But you will need some carbs because you don't want to go catabolic too much because you'll lose too much muscle mass. So macronutrient tweaks then might be important. And they are probably important for professional athletes, footballers that will work with nutritionalists, that will have worked with them for months, will go, such and such works best over 90 minutes if he has this much protein, this much carbs, this much fat, 2 hours before a game. So 2 hours before a game or 2 hours before training, he's going to eat this meal. And that will give him the best release of fuel for his performance. Yeah? Does that kind of make sense? So yeah, but other than that, no one needs to worry about it. Yeah. Good evening. What do you want a night out in the truck again? Brilliantly. Hope you've had a good holiday and straight back into doing what we do, mate. That post-holiday weight will soon be gone. I promise you that. You've just got to get at it. Thanks for those few tips a couple of weeks ago about moving more, drinking more water through 8 pound loss. Brilliant, Scott. No worries at all, mate. That's right, mate. This is why we love you, mate. You tell it how it is. There is no nonsense with me. I don't need to, you know. I don't need to wrap things up in a silver bow and pour glitter on them to make them see. There's just, and I tell you what it is to me. I've been lied to and took advantage of too many times when I've been trying to lose weight. Tried to lose weight for years and years and years. Bought into every fad, every nonsense, and that's all it is. Right, these coaches that are charging £200 a month and saying you need to eat this amount of carbs and this amount of fat and this amount of protein, right? They're just committing fraud. They're just trying to make it seem like you need to be doing more than you actually need to do to get results, right? And it's like, oh, well, you've obviously been eating too many carbs then. You need to get on plan with me and I'll give you the specific amount of carbs for your body type or the specific amount of carbs for your amount of movement. I'll give you a specific amount of protein. I'll give you a specific amount of this. And it's like, they're and when we're vulnerable and we're desperate, so, yeah, we've tried everything. No wonder I've not been losing weight. My carb to protein ratio's been off. I never even think of something like that. I wouldn't even know what a carb to protein ratio is. Good job I found Tommy the tit, who thinks he knows everything about nutrition. He's going to sort me right out and give me this plan. Oh, I've worked with Tommy now for 3 months, giving him £1,000. My fat loss is no different to 3 months ago when I wasn't paying Tommy the tit £300 a month. No, because Tommy the tit doesn't know what he's talking about either, right? So, but he's just sold you a kipper, yeah? Sold you down the river, and he said, not on my watch. Doesn't happen. Tell me, if you're doing a plan at the moment, right? I'm telling you now, you're doing a plan, I'll debunk it, and I'll tell you if it's nonsense or not. I'll tell you if it's value for money or not, right? I'm fully aware my plan's really cheap, so I'm not going to say it's stupidly expensive compared to my plan. Should be £100 a month, and that's what it should be. I'd be more than happy. I think if anyone worked with me one-to-one and paid £100 a month, they couldn't complain. And if they did complain, they're just doing it because of, you know, I had a lad a couple of weeks ago who was like, oh, your plan's rubbish. I am not to blame for your incompetence, right? If you're not willing to put the effort in, I'm not to blame, right? And that's the honest truth. And the problem is with people is they'll always look for someone else to blame, right? Because, you know, and you're always going to get some people like that, right? But, you know, yeah, I wouldn't go every plan's a rip-off because it's not 30 quid. Not many people can afford to charge 30 quid. I've just got myself into quite a lucky position. The way I set my coaching up, I can work with a lot of people, which allows me to do, you know, it's like bulk buying, if that makes sense, right? And I took a risk doing that because if I hadn't been able to work with a lot of people, I wouldn't be doing this job anymore. You know, I've got to work with a lot of people to make it worth my while. My mate Dan, who's paying that guy £300 a month, he needs to work with 10 people to make £3,000 a month, right? Which is all right, you know, it's all right. That'll do. It's not, you know, he probably does a few one-to-one PTs as well alongside that, and he might bag himself £50,000 a week, right? But he only needs 10 people. For me, I charge $29.99 a month. So for me to make £3,000 a month, I need 100 people. Right? I need 100 people. I need 10 times what he does, right? But it's all good. I've got that because I took the risk and I do lots of lives and so on and so forth. Anyway, there you go. Welcome to Business 101 with the Real Lost Boss. Anyway, there you go. But yeah, and it's amazing. I never get anyone saying, yeah, it's no good. It's no, the ones that actually put the effort in and lose weight. Yeah, they're not whinging. It's always the only people that whinge about something not being right, is the ones that don't put the effort in. It really does work like that, right? And the thing is, you're not working with someone that's just started as a coach. I've done this for 7 years now. I've heard all the stories. I've heard all the excuses, right? I know, the dog ate my homework and all that. I've heard it. I've heard everything. I've done it. I've done it myself, right? I'm too experienced to be drawn into, oh, your plan doesn't work. No, that's nonsense. It's worked. My clients combined now are over £18,000 combined fat loss in 4 and a bit years, right? If it didn't work, you wouldn't be losing that much body fat, right? Working with, I've had over, I think I was trying to work it out the other day. Thinking of doing a 10 stone club. I think I've had nearly 30 clients that have lost over 10 stone, that have hit £140 loss or more. I'm telling you now, there ain't many coaches that can put that on their CV, End the long day, 19,500 steps. That is a lot of steps. What a way to start the week. You want to work with me, by the way? Probably like, no, Neil, you're just flipping, no, I don't want to pay a small amount of money every month and consistently lose weight, as if I'd ever want to do that. Everyone wants to do that. You can do that. TikTok profile, Facebook page, YouTube page, $29.99 sign up, $29.99 a month. Bang, we'll get you on your journey. You'll be over stoned down by Christmas. Get in now, though. I'll tell you now, actually, and in all seriousness about start dates, my one-to-one plan. I have got 2 spaces left for Monday, right? And I'm going to start 2 people, just 2. That is it, on, because I go away a week on Thursday, the 2nd. So it'll be the 2nd, 3rd, 4th. On the 6th of October, 2 people, and then nothing for probably the end of October, because I'm not writing any plans while I'm away. And then the week I get back, I tend not to do any plans the week I get back either. So I'll start writing plans again week beginning the 20th. So if you don't get going this Monday or a week on Monday, it'll be the 27th of October before my next start date. And I'll be honest with you, then I've only got a few more start dates left for 2025. Around the last Monday, second to last Monday, last Monday of November, that's it. I'm off. See you later. Right? I'm not finishing. I'm not finishing work. I'm still working, but anyone that signs up like towards the end of November, you'll start in January, right? I don't start any new clients in December, right? So you can still sign up towards the end of November. You can still sign up in December, and we'll get you going first Monday of Jan, right? 5th of Jan, right? Will be the start day after that. So if you want to, you've really got 2 start dates if you want to make a really good crack at making some big changes before Christmas, which is this Monday and a week on Monday. So TikTok profile, Facebook page, YouTube page, Instagram. Get to my link tree, click on monthly plan. It's $29.99 sign up. I can get you going Monday, right? 2 spaces. Once they're full, 2 spaces for the 4th, 5th of October. Then we're at end of October, really, for start dates. Yeah. Sue, what about the argument that if you don't eat enough protein, that you will lose muscle instead of fat? Nonsense. Absolute garbage. So, right, don't get me wrong, there's more strings to this than me just going garbage. But if you are in a calorie deficit, you lose fat. You will never lose, right, I'm only losing muscle, not fat. If you're in a calorie deficit, you will lose body fat. Really is that simple. Now, when you go into a calorie deficit, we go into something called catabolic. So you have catabolic and anabolic. Anabolic is when we increase, not muscle mass. Anabolic is when we can increase overall mass. That includes everything, muscle, fat, the lot. Catabolic is where we decrease mass, right? And that will lose us body fat. That will lose us muscle mass. Now, if let's think about this logically, Sue. let's go and look at someone that lives in Ethiopia that suffers with famine, right? Have they lost fat and muscle? Have they lost everything, or do they just like, oh, look at that person there, they're skinny fat, right? They've still got some body fat because they've lost all the muscle because they've not had any protein. Because people that live in countries of famine, they're just happy to get calories in, right? Let alone protein, right? They're just happy to get like some bread or some oats or some, some stodge, right? They're not getting their chicken breast and their steaks and stuff like that in. So now, when we go into a calorie deficit, we go catabolic. Now, a lot of people that say you lose a lot of muscle mass alongside body fat if you don't eat protein is, again, bodybuilders, fitness instructors, running around gyms, all hench. If you carry more than abnormal muscle, right? So you've got average skeletal muscle, right? Everyone's got average skeletal muscle. If you're someone that carries more, you're walking around and you've got carpets under your arms and you can flex your guns and all the sun's out, guns out, and all this and there. Yes, right. If you go into a calorie deficit, right, and you don't eat enough protein, you will lose muscle mass, you will lose body fat. For people that are average Joe Blogs, you and me, right, you will lose. I carry a bit of extra muscle, but I'm certainly not a bodybuilder. You will lose fat. You might lose a smidge of muscle, but the amount you will lose will not do any major damage. Now, eat a reasonable amount of protein, right? You'll maintain it. Now, there's me. See, this is where people go very, very literal and don't. So I don't know if Sue's asking that question because I'm saying macros don't make a difference, right? I'm not telling you that eating a good amount of protein is important in when you go into a fat loss phase. The main reason why it's important is because it satiates us, it fills us up. But on the other hand, a decent amount of protein, yes, it will help to preserve muscle mass. It also has lots of, protein is amino acids. It has lots of vitamins, minerals in it as well. There's loads of different reasons. But just because I say the balance of macros doesn't matter, doesn't mean I'm saying just eat white bread. No, all my clients will say, I get all my clients to they don't need to eat a specific amount of protein, right? You just need to prioritize protein because everyone goes on about, well, you need to eat a gram of protein for every pound you weigh. The only people that need to do that are experienced bodybuilders that want to build muscle. Deirdre, that's 59, that just walks her 2 hours twice a day around the block, she does not need to be eating 200 grams of flipping protein, right? No, right? But should Deirdre, who walks her 2 hours around the block at 59, who's someone's on live going, how does he know me? I've got Juan and Sebastian, the 2 hours. Deirdre's like, what's he doing? Anyway, I have no idea why someone would have 2 hours called Juan and Sebastian, but I quite like it. I quite like those names. Anyway, so when I say macros don't matter, eating specific amounts, you have to eat 120 grams of carbs, 120 grams of protein, 50 grams of fat. So it's irrelevant, right? Prioritize your protein, prioritize your fibrous carbs in all your main meals, right? That's enough. That's more than enough protein to preserve any muscle mass that you potentially might lose by going into a calorie deficit. Also, again, I have to give advice from my coaching style because I don't put anyone into severe calorie deficits, right? I put people in a calorie deficit to lose £1 a week on average. One of these badges, right? That's 3,500 calories a week, 500 calories a day on average, right? You will get coaches out there. Who's worked with a coach out there that's put you on 1,200 calories a day that's trying to put you in 1,000 calorie deficit a day, 1,500, right? Well, that's malnourishment. And malnourishment, losing a bit of muscle mass isn't going to be your main concern. Yeah. I'm just starting a weight loss journey. How many calories should I hit a day? I'm doing 1,300. More than that. No grown adult. I don't care how you are. Oh, I don't care if you're 18. I don't care if you're 70. Right. Should be eating less than 1,500 calories a day. And if you're sat here now saying, I can't lose weight unless I eat less than 1,500 calories a day, well, let me tell you the why that is. right? So if you can't lose weight eating 1,500 calories a day, less than 1,500 calories a day, you've either worked your calories out wrong or your tracking's rubbish, right? You either don't move enough, right? Or you don't need to lose weight. It really is that simple, you know? There is a thing where calories are wrong, but there's also a thing the way people are doing weight loss wrong, right? If you're currently having to eat 1,300 calories a day to lose weight, but you're sat here at 8:45 at night and you click on your watch and it doesn't say 13,600 steps, it says 3,600 steps, well, you're doing weight loss wrong, because you shouldn't be a lazy bum when you need to get moving. And I'm not trying to be harsh when I say that. And please, that is not aimed at anyone that is physically disabled, has severe mobility issues. I work with clients like that. But the majority of people, the amount of clients that I get that come on board, and I used to be there. But the amount of clients I get on board, question 7 on my consultation form. Question 5, how many steps do you do a day? My watch for the last 3 months has said 6,000 steps a day. Do you exercise? No. Question 7, do you have any mobility issues? No. Bang. So there's absolutely no reason that you should be sedentary other than you can't be bothered. Right? That's it. Right? And if that means that you've been having to eat stupidly low amounts of calories, well, let's change that. Let's get you moving a bit more, which is going to improve your mental health. It's going to improve your physical health. It's going to improve your energy levels, right? And it's going to mean now you can eat 2,000 calories a day and lose 4 stone in a year. And it's miles nicer eating 2,000 calories a day and walking a bit more than it is trying to eat 1,500 calories a day, sitting on your bum a lot and being starving all the time, all right? So loads of people, unfortunately, lose weight in the wrong way. Right now, Dorcas Gardner, I have no idea how much you move, but 1,300 calories a day. And the way you put how many calories should I hit a day? So you obviously have just picked a random number out of thin air. Again, how many of you guys on this live now are eating a certain amount of calories for weight loss, and it is not relative to you? It's just a random number out of thin air. You know, flipping Denise on the desk next year. You're roughly the same height, you're roughly the same weight, you're roughly the same age, and she's decided to eat 1,200 calories a day. So you're eating 1,200 calories a day, right? Or you're following this, you know, you've got onto what these people on TikTok. Tell me your movement and I'll give you your calories. And they've told you to eat 1,200 calories a day, you know? Paul has 16,000. Paul, your steps are on fire at the moment. How many did you do in Rome? I want to see those. Well, next check-in, we'll be seeing those Rome steps. Flipping heck, I did some movement when I went to. You'll have done some. I think if you did Colosseum, went to the Forum, it's bloody knackering. What a sugar-free drink this is, by the way. Irn-Bru Extra, unreal, absolutely unreal. Right, let me scan up and see what is going on. My sweet spot is 2,100 a day, less than that, and I feel yeah, exactly. So there is, Chris. I talk about this. What is your calorie sweet spot? I've done plenty of content on it. I've done plenty of continent on it, like incontinent before on it. Well, you do talk a lot of shizzle. Anyway, what is calories? What is the definition of a calorie sweet spot? So a calorie sweet spot is an amount of calories you're eating where you don't feel starving, you don't feel a lack of energy, you're able to enjoy some of the foods that you really enjoy eating, right? So you can have a Chinese with the kids at the weekend, or a little cheeky Mackey's, or you can have fish and chips on a Friday night on the way home from work, right? So you can do all of that, but you see decent losses, but you lose one of those a week on the scales, right? That is your calorie deficit sweet spot, right? It's about balance, right? On this side, yeah, don't get me wrong, you're going to get the odd hunger pang, right? You're going to get cravings, right? That's part of being in a diet, and we have to just work with and put the tools in place to try and sort those out. High protein diet, high fiber diet, you know, still enjoying some of the foods we love, planning ahead, keeping busy, hydrations, lots and lots of tools, good night's sleep, and all that. lots and lots of tools we can put in place to try and make the journey much more pleasurable. But this is your balance. Energy, not hungry all the time, enjoying some of the foods I love, not feeling, like I'm punishing myself, right? So we're here, but we're also seeing one of these go a week on average. That is your calorie deficit sweet spot, yeah? Because if your calories are too low, you're going to lose more of this, but you're going to be tired. You're going to be hungry. You're going to be grumpy, right? You're going to have lots of different hormone imbalances that's just going to make you feel like absolute garbage all the time. And it just won't be worth losing lots of this for how awful you're feeling. On the other hand, if your calorie deficit's too small, yeah, great. I'm not hungry at all. Right? Yeah, I'm eating loads of foods that are calorie dense all the time. But you're not going to see any of this stuff disappear or very small amounts of it. And then you'll get frustrated. So you've got to find that right balance, We were doing 15,000 to 20,000 steps a day in IB for blisters. Ouch. And it's not. How many steps should you hit daily? It is subjective, right? Because like I said before, we have to be honest with ourselves, and I'm not trying to dig people out. I'm genuinely not. But, and we just have to own it a little bit. But if you've got no mate, if your only excuse is effort level and time, you should be doing 10,000 steps a day minimum, right? On average, right? You don't need to do loads more than that. I don't. I do 11,000 steps a day. You don't need to go bonkers. And like I say, on average, I've done 13,700 steps today. Will I average 13,700 by the end of this week? Well, I toss, because I'll probably have a couple of days where I do 7,000 steps in a day, right? But I can have a sedentary day when I've had days like today where I've done nearly 14,000 steps, right? But most people should be aiming for 10,000 steps a day on average, right? So you do 8,000 one day, 12, 9, 11, 10, 8, 12, bang, that's 10,000 steps a day on average. Right now, again, if you've got mobility issues, disabilities, and again, don't run before you can walk, right? Even if you've got no mobility issues, right? If your body's used to doing 6,000 steps a day, to suddenly start from tomorrow to do 12,000 steps a day, it's going to kick you in the bum, right? And it could have an adverse effect then. Build yourself up. You don't need to go at this like, this is a journey, right? Because you're not going to go from, I don't need to go from 6,000 steps a day to 12,000 steps a day, then to 15,000 steps a day. But in 3 months' time, you're back down to 6,000 steps a day. No. You're going to go 6,000 steps a day in a couple of weeks, 7, 2-3 weeks, 8, another 2-3 weeks, 9, another 2-3 weeks, 10. Bang! I've hit me peak. Any more than that's just a bonus. But I've hit me minimum. That's where I want to get to, right? And you're going to do that not for a week. Or a month, no. 6, no. 12, no. You're not for the rest of your life while you're physically able to. Right? So that's what we should be aiming to do. Yeah? Lovely. Guys, I'm going in a few minutes. I feel like this has been a little bit of a ranty one, but not like I don't want anyone to feel like I've been, I never want to come across as preachy. Sometimes I might, and I apologize for that if I do. But I'm really passionate about people having success on this journey, because I know how hard it is physically and mentally to be overweight, whether you're a couple of stone overweight or you're 10 stone overweight or you're 15, 20 stone overweight. I know how hard it is. I've been there, right? And I just want you all to have to live the best life you can live, because we've only got one. We're not a car that every 3 years we can abuse and then trade it in and get a new one. It doesn't work like that. We don't have that luxury in life, right? Every day is a day gone, right? I'm not trying to be depressive here, but it's the truth. I wasted 33, 34 years of my life, right? And I will not waste another day. I won't. I genuinely won't, right? Because life's too short to be unhappy all the time. And the only people that can sort it out is you. Whoever look in the mirror. You're that's who can sort it out, right? No one can sort it out for you. You can hire me personally. I got offered this. when I first started doing online, like Real Lost Boss stuff, just before, so I launched Real Lost Boss in September 2019, right? So I've been a personal trainer for a couple of years, well, about 18 months, right? And I decided I wanted to do some online stuff because I was full PTing. I couldn't, like my earnings potential had gone. I was full personal training. I didn't have any time PTing. I was doing fitness classes as well. I was running myself into the ground. And I was like, what do I do? Because when I first started personal training, I charged £25 an hour and I was full. Right. So then I increased it to £30 an hour, expecting some people to go, oh, it's a bit pricey now. I stayed full. Right. Middle of 2019, I increased it to £35 an hour, just hoping some clients would drop off because I was knackered. And it's one of them, get saturated, put your prices up, few will leave because they can't afford it, take more clients on at 30, work smart, not hard. No one dropped off. So I was like, right, I'm going to go into the online bit game. And to be honest with you, when I set the Real Lost Boss, I was like, I'm going to be an influencer. I'm going to set up, this, that, and the other. I'll set up a YouTube channel. And within 10 years, I'll be earning £5,000 a month from YouTube. So I don't need to. I earned £60 a month from YouTube. So that didn't quite go to plan. But I started doing some online content. And I actually had a guy from Manchester. And he wanted to employ me as a personal trainer full time. 40 grand, was it 40 grand a year? 40 grand a year and 10 grand expenses he offered me. So he said, I'll give you 10 grand expenses, but the 10 grand expenses I had to get receipts for so he could write them off against his business. So basically he offered me like 200 quid a week for like petrol and a few other bits and pieces, and then 40 grand a year wage. I didn't want to work with one person. It didn't interest me, right? But yeah, I was offered that, but I don't want to. I like working with a lot of people. That's why I love the online stuff. That's why I love doing the online coaching, because I get to work with a lot of people. It's variety. Yeah, I get to help people that are £600, £500, £400, £300, £200. My lightest client that I'm working with at the moment is £144, just over 10 stone. Right, so I can work with a whole host of people. I love it. Right. You absolutely sensational group of people. I am going to bed. What we're watching tonight. I don't know what we're watching. I've watched Austin Powers 1 and 2 this weekend. I just wanted something no-brainer. I've just had a proper switch-off weekend and I've loved it. And I've watched, I need to find Goldmember. I watched Austin Powers 1, it was on Prime. And I was like, I want to watch 2. Couldn't find it anyway, so I had to pay for it, $7.99 on Prime. I'm hoping Goldmember's free somewhere. So that's my mission now. I'm going to go find Goldmember and watch that. And then I quite fancy watching that Black Rabbit that's just come on Netflix. I don't know if it's any good or not. No idea. It looks like it could be very good or really rubbish. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, but I've not heard anyone say it's any decent. Has anyone started watching that? It's just come on. I think it came on yesterday or over the weekend. But yeah, I've not really got anything to watch at the moment. But anyway, I'm just going to chill in bed a little bit. I've got about 20 minutes of work to do, and then it's bedtime. Right, guys, I'm on tomorrow. Guys, on Plan Community people, I think I'm going to do, I can't remember if I did this in the newsletter. Tomorrow's Weight Loss Coaching Live, and Thursdays is going to be 10 a.m. I know Thursdays is normally 5 p.m. and 5 p.m. on Thursday, I might be doing a live. I might do a Facebook Live, TikTok, what I'm doing now. Right? I don't know, but I've got my mum's car in on Thursday, so I've got to drive Rachel to work on Thursday because I need a car because my mum's got a couple of appointments on Thursday. Then take my mum's car into the garage for a service, then go back. So basically, I'm just doing the lives in the morning this week. It's just easier. Everything weight loss sessions at night time this week, but tomorrow's that, and I think we're just going to do them at 10 a.m. Because tomorrow I need to go and get my haircut. I've got christening this weekend. I was going to hang on because I'm going on holiday next week, and I was like, no, I'll hang on. I'm going on holiday next week. We'll give it another. I can last a week. I've got a christening at the weekend, so I need to go get me. I started having my hair cut a bit longer. I used to get a skin fade around the outside, and I don't anymore. I just kind of I've just had a short back and sides, which I actually quite like, but I don't like my hair being. I like it a week now. So Now, week 10 days, I need to go get my hair cut again. And you don't need to know that, but I thought I'd tell you. I like being honest. I like being honest. Right. Anyway, there we go. What we're doing. Nothing. I'm going. Right, guys. So I'll be on tomorrow, 8:30. TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. And then 10 a.m. tomorrow, first of this week's Weight Loss Coaching Lives. No idea what topic I'm doing. I fancy doing something around food. Might do macros. Have I done macros? I'll have a look through in the morning. I might do macros, as we've talked about today. So I might go through macro and micronutrients. I feel like I might have done something like that recently. Anyway, leave it with me. That's tomorrow. That's it. Enjoy the rest of your Monday evening. And if you're free, I'll see you in the morning. Oh, TikTok, sign off to you first. And then Facebook, YouTube, sign off to you now. Yeah, if you're